My wife and I live in Southern California near Laguna Beach, which is renowned for its art galleries, beaches, and beautiful coastline. Periodically, I take a long lunch with my wife to eat at a restaurant on a cliff overlooking the ocean with a gorgeous view of Catalina Island in the distance. Then we grab gelato at our favorite shop for dessert and stroll along the boardwalk before I head back to work. Occasionally, we will take time to mosey into one or more galleries to enjoy the artwork they have on display. On one occasion, while I was admiring a now forgotten painting, my wife quietly called out to me from across the room, "Look at this one." As I turned around, I saw this painting sitting on the floor, leaning against the wall, next to my wife. My eyes immediately teared up. This painting is called Nauvoo Legacy by the Italian artist Pino. It portrays a scene that some of my ancestors endured. They were driven from the state of Missouri in the dead of winter at the point of a gun and settled in Illinois along the banks of the Mississippi River. They drained the swamp, and through hard work and sacrifice, they built the largest city in Illinois in just 5 years. It was even bigger than Chicago at the time. It was the most prestigious city west of the Appalachians. But their neighbors, again, rose up against them and drove them from the United States to the Rocky Mountains. So women swept out their beautiful new homes, loaded their essential possessions in wagons, and abandoned the rest, as they then ventured into the wilderness, not knowing where they would end up or even if they would survive. Again, they started to head out in the dead of winter, when it was so cold that the Mississippi River froze, allowing wagons to cross on the ice. Women bore the brunt of this ordeal and suffered a higher mortality rate than men. This painting portrays the legacy of faith and love of God and family that these strong, faithful women left to their posterity. This beautiful wife and mother is out front, leading her family with confidence on a treacherous journey into the unknown. The steadfast look in the mother's eyes and her gentle caress of her infant captures the faith and determination to sacrifice everything to follow God and to raise her children in His love. Her son and daughter, holding hands behind her, witness her efforts to teach love by word as well as deed. And then there is us men following behind, tending to temporal things, which are minuscule in comparison to the prominence of the contribution by this woman. This painting dramatically demonstrates that women are the ones who largely imbue the next generation with faith and love. They are the ones who leave the most valuable and longest lasting legacy to posterity. Throughout history, women have always played the greatest role in creating and maintaining a civil society. A good case in point is Australia. At first, Great Britain used it as a penal colony, but as criminals served their time and were released to roam around the countryside, they didn't change their character. So Australia became an unruly colony that Britain couldn't control. They tried everything they could think of to maintain order. They tried the strong arm of the law, to no avail. They tried religion, with little effect. It took the wife of an army captain to provide the solution: women. Caroline Chisholm had the heart and the vision to know that the uplifting influence women have on society was what Australia needed. She was instrumental in getting Parliament to provide free passage to Australia for the wives and children of former convicts, and for paying half of the fare for any woman who wanted to emigrate. She set up homes to provide temporary housing for these women, and while she then helped them find honorable employment and permanent housing, she helped thousands of women tame the wild continent and create a civil society. I believe that this has always been the pattern. which was set by Mother Eve. She realized that we needed to live in a fallen world in order to develop faith and to develop our divine capacity to love. And she knew that women could lead the way. I also honor Mary, the Blessed Mother of Jesus, who loved her son and taught him faith so that he then could discover his divinity and save mankind. I honor my angel mother, who tried her best to bring some semblance of stability to our dysfunctional family. While I was growing up, we moved on the average of every 9 months. I attended 7 different high schools. This transitional life was an outward expression of the internal turmoil that my father struggled with from being raised in a broken home, which actually unfortunately led to several of his siblings dying from suicide. My mother was also raised in an unhappy home with a domineering father. She found no respite in her marriage. My dad was very controlling and prone to outbursts of anger. Regardless, my dear sweet mother helped all of us children feel loved. Her unwavering example of love taught us all faith and charity. Like Caroline, my mother's selfless effort brought civility to our troubled world and helped her now large posterity build successful lives on the foundation of love and faith that she laid. I love you, Mom. I now want to honor my dear wife, Jean. She's had the greatest influence on my life. Her father, who she adored, was killed by a drunk driver on his birthday when Jean was only 7 years old. Her mother raised Jean and her younger brother and sister in an 800-square-foot house, living on Social Security and veterans benefits and an occasional job. Yet, with that meager income, she saved enough money to pay for her 3 children to get a college education, and to send Jean and her brother on missions, one for a year and a half, and the other one for 2 years. Jean was a sickly child and has suffered health challenges her whole life. Consequently, she has less energy than most people. I'm actually very sad to say that early in our marriage, this would occasionally annoy me. But over the 46 years of our marriage, I have learned to recognize and value Jean's keen ability to be in tune with the spirit and her body, to know what was the next most important thing that she had the ability to do. And usually it had something to do with another individual. I have seen how she has touched the lives of others and lifted them up, while I was expending a lot of energy just spinning my wheels. Now you know why I became emotional when I saw Jean standing next to this painting. The beautiful, strong, faithful woman on that canvas not only represented my pioneer ancestors, it epitomized Jean. So to me, this painting is a portrait of my dear wife, leading the way in our family, creating a legacy of faith and love for our posterity. I honor her. I honor my mother. I honor all mothers and all women for their invaluable and largely unnoticed, uplifting influence in the world. I honor them all for the legacy of faith and love that they have given us. This is Grant Hallstrom on behalf of the Human Quest for Meaning.